time again. Happy Monday. Another episode of the Two Old Farts. Play it. Happy June 10th, 2024. Back again, guys. Two Old Farts. Just a little old colored fella from New Jersey, Rico Jambone Esquire, lawyer extraordinaire. Joined as always by my two favorite people from the low country of South Carolina, Greg Cassidy, and of course, Durand, Michigan's own Kurt Martz.
We're gonna have to change that one of these days.
What would you change it to?
Probably Grand Blanc. It's a much bigger city, and that's where I lived for the majority of 20 years.
Well, why didn't you say that from show number one?
I was
want to
born
give a shout out?
I was born and raised in Durand.
The old dirt road with the pebbles all.
Pretty much.
All right, episode 9, and I'm going to get right into it. If you recall, last episode, Greg had an issue in our segment, What Pissed You Off, where he talked about a young lady that was employed at a particular location downtown, deciding that her able-bodied self would park in a handicap spot, much to the dismay of Greg and others like him. It doesn't stop there. You would have thought it would. After our podcast aired, I got a text Wednesday at 12:30 in the morning from an individual to this date whom I don't know, and whoever gave him my number is a jackass. She expressed her displeasure with Greg and I for slapping one of those orange stickers on her window that you can't possibly get off without some professional help. In it, the sticker read, "Shame on you for parking in a handicap spot. You're a server at a particular location, bar not to be named." By the way, shout out to Ink and Ivy for once again having us here, downtown Greenville, South Carolina. And at the end of the note, the person called this person pathetic. I agree with everything that was in that note, but I did not write that note. You didn't either, Greg, did you?
If I wrote a note, you couldn't read it.
Doctor's handwriting?
I write just like a doctor. We all know who has the orange stickers around here. Not me.
So, to make matters worse, she then sends me an image of said note and says, "Do you know anything about this?" To which I reply, "Rico Jambone Esquire is a very busy man. I don't have time for this kind of stuff."
And you said, "Do I look handicapped?"
That was all I could think of it. But I will say this about it. The gall of this individual to send me that during my time of beauty sleep is very disturbing to me.
And to send it unnamed.
Unnamed, yeah. Identify yourself, because I still don't know who this person is. In fact, I do. I got a picture of her, him or her, sent to me by someone after the fact. But here's the point. I don't care where you park. It's your ticket. It's not mine. Park where you want. What I do have a problem with, however, is you doing something that, number one, you know you shouldn't be doing. And number two, for her to say that Greg is not entitled to that spot. Yeah, he is.
I got a doctor.
Have you looked at him lately?
Have you seen that?
That's 100. Have you watched him walk? Which brings me to this, and then I'll segment into what pissed you two guys off. I went to Ingles today to get a condiment for my lunch. My diet is trimmed down a little bit. I'm at a point now where I have to be careful what I eat to maintain this boyish figure. And as I get out of my vehicle, I'm at spot 15, all right, away from the front entrance of Ingles. An elderly man pulls into spot 2, which is a marked handicap spot. And he gets out of his vehicle, and he's got a limp worse than yours. I mean, it's one of those, like, his body does like this when he walks. Right. And I remember thinking to myself, what if that girl was parked here, and it was a very busy day? That said, sweetheart, let me just deliver this message to you. Don't give a rat's ass about you, where you park, where you work, who you're friends with. Rico Jambone Esquire simply does not care. Don't ever fucking text me again. End of story. Kurt.
Oh, I guess we know what pissed you off.
100%.
Let me read this. What pissed me off just happened before this show.
He had some notes.
Nancy Pelosi admits responsibility for January 6th security failure.
She's still alive?
Where the hell was this admission to it 3.5 years ago before they threw everybody in jail?
Yeah. A lot of pardons if a certain individual wins in November.
Certainly.
A lot of pardons. Did you throw your remotes at one of the two teams? You know,
I just read it when I sat down here.
He was looking at what can I be pissed off at today. Google.
That's awesome. Greg, what pissed you off other than this continuing saga of this handicap story?
I'm going to let you handle that, J-Bone. You are attorney Esquire. What pissed me off was a baseball game yesterday between Clemson and Florida in the regionals of college baseball, where 4 umpires tried to make the game about them. They took 40 minutes over a call that should have just been, he's out.
Yep, we watched that. Yep.
Instead, they had to make a whole spectacle about showing who the boss is. Threw our best player out of the game. And if you look at the replay, the Florida first baseman is the one who actually shoved our player.
Initiated the contact.
They initially hit, but then he came back and shoved our guys. Well, what teammate is not going to walk up and say, hey, you got a giant versus a midget?
Fair enough.
And then at the end of the game, we went up by 1 in the top of the 13th. We had a guy hit a 2-run homer, which at the time put us up by 1. And when he crossed home plate, the umpires brought together and were having a discussion whether to eject the player for flipping his bat. Well, it's emotional. It's 13th inning. I don't care for us flipping. I mean, within reason.
Sure.
Flipped his bat. Well, Coach Leggett, I love Coach Leggett.
I didn't think the flip was that bad.
No, it wasn't.
He threw it on the ground, but that's just pure adrenaline.
And Coach Leggett went batshit crazy.
I saw it. That was awesome to watch.
He went on the field, and then the old Michigan coach came in to protect him. And then when the Michigan coach got ejected, right on the mound, he goes,
Typical Michigan style. I'm sad
he pulled out his inner Bob Seger on the way off the field.
little Detroit action. All right, so we had our celebrity pro-am in town this past week, which if you're not familiar with the city of Greenville, they do an annual pro-am out at Thornblade, which I like to call it, Thornblade Country Club. And a lot of celebs come to town. Was it Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, Don Cheadle, I heard, was in town. Aaron Rodgers made an appearance a couple years ago. You know what strikes me as, I won't say ironic because that's not the appropriate word, what all the single girls downtown Greenville do for this particular event, they make it about them.
they're chasing the checkbook.
Chasing that checkbook. I saw Kurt walking. By the way, we had the Jazz Fest this weekend too. And that sort of supplemented. You go from the Pro-Am downtown to watch some jazz music being played on Main Street. I had the chance to watch Kurt trying to navigate his way.
Those people couldn't get the hell out of town fast enough for me. You can't walk the street now. None of them know how to walk, and 90% of them never saw a 2-story building before.
What you should do when they come here and go to Pickett's and walk over there.
There's nobody down there. They're all here. They open the gates at the bottom of the hill, and they're all up here with no teeth.
Kurt likes to walk with his head down, with his headphones in, and
Detroit radio on.
Beeline and listening to Valente.
I was listening to the Tigers last night.
Last topic before we, and this will interest Kurt. I saw this on the news today. Before we break, apparently 30 doctors in a Detroit hospital walked out. You see this?
I did not see it.
I don't know if it was Detroit Mercy, but it was a hospital in Detroit. They walked out over the, I guess the way they're being treated, the general way things are. And I wanted to ask you, obviously you've been to a hospital in Michigan, but have you ever been to a hospital in Detroit? No. You mean
not downtown, no. There's some great hospitals in the periphery.
If you go downtown to Detroit, you go into the hospital.
Only if you go to certain,
the old 8 Mile.
only if you go to certain spots, then you're going to the trauma center to get the bullet ejected from you.
That said,
Detroit gets a bad rap. They've really done a hell of a job downtown.
That's the Illiches, right? With the
Illiches and Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland franchises, he's from Detroit.
Yep, 100%. All right, that takes us into the end of segment 1, which I'm very happy about. It went by quick this week. But on the way out, I started with Clemson first last time, so I thought this week we'd give Michigan a shout out as we go to commercial break, and you get your little.
One of these days we got to get Michigan State in there.
I'm not doing
No.
that. I give you one every show. That's it.
You get one pick.
We'll be back. 2 Old Fights.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. The only fight song that matters, boys. The only fight song that matters.
That was my high school fight song.
This particular fight song was your...
We renamed it a bit.
Yeah. Insult. All right, welcome back. Episode 9, 2 Old Fights. We've been sitting around talking about a number of things in between. So apparently this doesn't happen to you guys, but I've been getting inundated with texts from political campaigns. We've got clerk of courts, Congress, I believe the Senate, right? We got the Senate, and then of course November, the big one. 2 questions, and Kurt's the guy I feel like could answer this. You know, he's the congressman wherever he goes. How on earth does my cell phone number circulate amongst these people?
You got on a call list somewhere, and it's probably because of your business. But
Do you think they pay for these calls?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Where's my cut? The fuck? This is like the Jersey Mob. I want my taste.
Don't you, as a lawyer, get call records and a lot of for leads?
Well, yeah, but I don't pay for that stuff. I'm more word of mouth. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so annoying though. And there's 7,000 people running for office this coming election cycle, which it's just driving me bananas. That said, we had something interesting happen in the state of Oregon this past week, and something I would never normally talk about. A bull at a rodeo leaps what had to be, I don't know, an 8-foot fence into a crowd of people and trampled people. 3 or 4 people got hurt. Have you guys ever been to a rodeo?
Yeah.
I have not, but I have been to Yellowstone and see how a 2,000-pound buffalo could jump 8 feet. It's just
easy.
It's incredible. Just massive hours.
The old Detroit rodeo.
Did you see that last week there was an 80-year-old woman from Greenville at Yellowstone that got too close to a bison and they gored her? Gored the woman 80 and threw her 2 feet up in the air through her stomach.
Can I make an unpopular position? Why are you that close to that thing anyway?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to take a selfie.
Hey, no.
I have a friend, Mallory Gant. She's an attorney in town. Her parents own a farm out in Seneca, and her mom's a big horse enthusiast. Shout out to Amy Gant. You should follow her on Snapchat. She's got great content. But she's got these 4 or 5 horses. One of them's named Tebow. And Greg, that thing's the size of an 18-wheeler. And when we pulled up to the barn, we went for a ride on her farm. I wouldn't go anywhere near that thing.
No.
They're just too unpredictable for me.
I hate anything bigger than me. Anything bigger than me, I'm good. I used to have 4 horses because of my ex-wife. Well, I paid for them. I didn't ride. I rode one time, and the horse took off of me. I beat the fuck out of that horse, jumped off, and never rode again. I'm done. But I paid.
I'll bet you beating the fuck out of that horse did nothing to that horse.
No. Well, horses are so stupid. It's the only animal I know of that eats themselves to death. They'll eat till they die.
Well, they have pea brains, if I'm correct, right?
They have pea brains, and their ingestion, they can't expel gas. So we had one. I had a really nice barn, and I had a 55-gallon drum of sweet feed. We give them a handful every so often, and that fucker got in that 55-gallon and ate the whole thing. At 3:30 in the morning, my ass is with a trailer, taking that horse to Athens, Georgia, to a veterinary clinic for $2,000 to pump his stomach.
And did he eventually die, or he survived?
No, he unfortunately survived.
Kurt, tell us about the Detroit rodeo out there.
I was in the Palace Auburn Hills, and my company I was working for had a suite.
Where the old Pistons used to play.
Yeah. And it was family day. The rodeo would come in for the weekend, and we'd take the kids, and all the customers would take their kids, and the kids would be out front watching the rodeo, and the the parents would be at the bar drinking in the suite. So
Was it inside or outside?
Auburn Hills, yeah, that's
kind of like the Bible Center here.
Inside, yeah. And that's right, they do it here at the Bible Center. By the way, downtown Greenville, Ink and Ivy, Monster Coors Arena is 6-minute walk away from here. A lot of great events over the years that we've seen in that building. I've never been to a rodeo. I don't think my black ass will ever go to a rodeo.
Well, you can go with the black cowboy that comes here.
That's right, Lionel. Yeah, he raises cattle and horses.
I know.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, out in Anderson County. But no, I'm gonna pass on that. I think
he raises the cows in the bathroom a few times too.
Oh boy. Oh boy, you had to go there, didn't you?
Yep. That is protected information no longer. All right, so I'm just watching a commercial today. I was listening to, listening to a commercial on Sirius Radio, Mad Dog Radio. Shout out to Chris Russo, who's one of my inspirations in life. And a commercial came on about a cream that you apply for chafing. You guys know what chafing is?
Yeah. Not good.
What in the actual? What? Who chafes?
You know they're paying him to advertise that.
Oh, of course, big money too.
If you ride a horse, you chafe. If you're a male.
The visualization I got was a big old lady with thick ass thighs just rubbing together all summer long.
Yeah, and I'm good.
And they're all down in Pickens.
Oh boy, someone from Pickens is gonna show up here.
Yeah. I'm gonna get shot now.
That's awesome. All right, well, listen, I would like to think that we stay in good enough shape where chafing doesn't become an issue for us. I will say though, particularly in the summertime, when your arms rub around like that, whether you're walking or running and you've got the deodorant on, summertime, that becomes a little bit more aggravating. But today was the first day I learned about chafing at 45 years old, and the first image I get was the one I just described, and like you said,
You might want to erase that image in your brain.
trying to. That's what the Tito's is for.
Maybe you should get rid of Russo and start listening to Valente out
here we
Detroit.
go.
We don't have those ads.
I'm sure Valenti has the ads. You might be right. Well, he's on ESPN, right?
No, he's on Detroit Radio local.
Oh, Detroit
They offered him
Radio.
national in New York. He turned it down.
And we had a local Greenville guy go to Detroit Radio last week, right?
Yeah, guy from Greenville, from Clemson Radio. He's now on 97.1 in Detroit.
Speaking of turning things down, Dan Hurley out at UConn turned down the Lakers and the opportunity to coach LeBron, and he will forever be my hero.
That's a ballsy move.
Well, shout out to New Jersey, where I'm from. Danny Hurley's a Jersey guy, and I thought it was a bad idea. Well, number one, nobody can coach that guy.
No.
He's just so full of himself. Nobody can coach him. So it's career suicide a lot of
If the Lakers were smart, they'd go ahead and draft this kid and make LeBron the last player coach.
100%.
I mean, the last time it was done was, I know Bill Russell did it.
Bill Russell did it.
Who else did it?
I think
This
he's
has
the
been
last
more
one.
recently than that. Right?
Maybe Casey Jones?
Maybe.
No, so I told her one day.
Anyway, I know Pete Rose did it in baseball, but
That's right. That's right.
that's what they should do with LeBron and have him have his swan song and then
Oh, it drives me nuts.
retire for God's sakes.
Oh, please, just get out of basketball. I've had enough of this guy. Anyway, last topic of the day. We're in Pride Month. I didn't know about that either until Meatball Mark told us about it. Our favorite watering hole, Lincoln Ivy, is sponsoring a number of Pride Month events. One of them, which they do monthly, is their drag brunch. And a little birdie told me that Greg is going to be doing his little Vogue dancing at the next...
Your birdie is drunk. When is that going to be? Like the
last weekend in June, they're having their drag brunch. You will see a lot of makeup.
I'll be in Pickens that weekend.
Yeah.
You and Kurt at the Pickens County Raceway there.
Yeah.
Riding around on your go-karts.
Absolutely.
You three finance men, I love you, and I hope you got that on audio.
We've acquired a couple of fans here during the show today, and I'm grateful for you all's. Look at you! I'm getting hot, 95 degrees.
Oh my goodness, let me cool you off.
Hey, Jessica and Coop. Shout out to Jessica and Coop.
Oh, shout out Jazz and Coop.
Show them your little toys there. Anyway, Thanks for joining us. Episode 9 of the Two Old Farts. I'm very happy to have been here. And I think we're going to go out with a little Clemson fight song.
Let's do it.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. Two Old Farts. See you next week, folks.